Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be reviewing the Chevy Silverado Trail Boss 3500. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Chevy here in Provo for giving me some time with this truck. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a 6.6 liter turbo diesel V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs with this are 470 horsepower and then 975 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So let's quickly touch base on the cool stuff that the Trail Boss package adds, and we'll also focus on the fact that this one's a 3500. Very important for later. So everything's blacked out. You can see the badges up top blacked out. It's kind of cool with the carbon fiber like trim there. I don't think it's real carbon fiber. I think it's just plastic that looks like carbon fiber weave. Anyways, grill's all blacked out with the Z71 badge. You got the red recovery points, fog lights here at the bottom. Really cool contrast overall with the front of the truck. And then you can see we've got these nice all-terrain tires that are added. Slightly larger wheels, they're 20-inch wheels, so you don't have as much sidewall with the tires. Kind of similar to the Ram HD Rebel package. I do have independent front suspension with the Chevys. You can see the rest of the badging there all blacked out. There's your side profile. Definitely has a nice stance. And if you're wondering, this has Rancho shocks, so it's not like it's any different from a regular Z71 truck, but right, Trail Boss. So that's a little bit different, right? It's the rest of the rear. I like the color comp on this one too. And then inside this particular Trail Boss is the LTZ interior, basically. So by the way, 3789 is the payload. Towing capacity is 20,000 pounds. And then here's the front seat. Again, LTZ interior, so you got all that nice stuff. You do get a full-time four-wheel drive system. You still have two-wheel drive, but you also have, auto, high, low, all of that. Heads-up display controls too. Quickly turn it on. Full digital gauge cluster with this one. This one also has a heads-up display, and then you've got your adaptive cruise control. We also have a, pro tip here. I think if you press in, yes, it unlocks it. Anyways, you can see the 360 camera system. You got the different views that you can go between with the truck. Pretty cool setup overall. Heated and ventilated seats with this, trailer brake controls, diesel exhaust brake. Like, it's got all the stuff. Camera rear view mirror. It's got a sunroof up top as well, but it does have a big price tag. We'll pop this off. So this one's stickers for $85,000, just over that, which is pretty penny. It is less than a ZR2, and that's why the 3500 Trail Boss is so cool. This looks like a ZR2. Again, to someone who doesn't know anything about Chevy trucks, they see this, they see a ZR2, they're gonna be like, that's the same truck. But getting a loaded up one of these is less expensive than a ZR2, and you can get it with a 3500, so you get the extra payload capacity, which means you have the ability to tow more, haul more, all of that, which I think is a huge benefit. But let's see how it drives, because the ZR2 drives really well. Trail Boss. I think this is a smart move by Chevy to bring this package out, because a lot of people want the looks of the cool off-road packages, but they don't necessarily want to pay the price that you have to pay because of all the off-road gadgets. I mean, this is still going to have the G80 rear locker, so it's not going to have the selectable that you get in the ZR2, and that is one downside with the Trail Boss over the ZR2 in terms of off-roading. But if you're never going to take the truck off-road, or, to difficult off-road situations, like if you're just going to do, basically the groomed roads, the well-groomed roads, then you might as well just go for this, because it'll still be able to go down those just fine, and it'll save you quite a bit of money. Because, I mean, again, a ZR2's a little bit more expensive than this with a 2500, and then can't get it with a 3500, and especially if you go for the ZR2 Bison package, then that increases the price even more so. Great torque out of this. And one thing that is a downside with this is, so first off, 3500 is just going to be stiffer, right? Because you got to have stronger springs to be able to handle a higher payload. But on top of that, the Rancho shocks are just not going to be, they're not as sophisticated as the Multimatic, but they're just not going to be as good at the dampening. Now, the benefit of Rancho shocks is they're cheap. So cheap to replace if you ever have to replace them. And simplistic stuff tends to last long. Now, Multimatic, they make really durable stuff from what I've seen, so I think you can get a pretty good lifespan out of those shocks. But yeah, the more simplistic a shock, the more reliable it tends to be. But again, you just don't get as much performance out of it. So you feel bumps and everything more than you feel the Multimatic, and especially off-road. I mean, off-road, that's where you're going to feel the biggest difference between these suspension systems. And they've softened the whole suspension in the ZR2, and that's why it's such a comfortable ride. But if you got a tow, right, then this is the way to go. And I think this is kind of Chevy's answer. Originally I thought that Chevy's answer to the Tremor and the Rebel and stuff and the Power Wagon and all that was the ZR2, but now I kind of see Chevy splitting it up a little bit. This is kind of like the actual answer to, I would say that this is the real answer to the Rebel and to the Tremor. And then the ZR2 is kind of like an answer to the Power Wagon in a way. It's obviously not the same because it doesn't have a sway bar disconnect and a front locker, but it's got a lot of off-road kit that makes it so it would be a great overland truck if you decided to go that route. Man, I love this engine. I love these big diesels are great. I'll be interested to see if they do hybrids in these in the near future, because everyone wants hybrids nowadays because the extra performance and then slightly extra fuel economy, and there's less strings attached to a hybrid than there is to like a, you know, a traditional hybrid than there is to like a plug-in hybrid, or definitely far less strings than what you have with an EV, right? So Trail Boss drives well. It doesn't drive as well as the ZR2, but it saves you quite a bit of money. I mean, you can get a fully loaded one of these in a 3500 like we have today, and it's a bit less than a ZR2, and especially if you get a ZR2 Bison, this is quite a bit less because those are over $90,000. So let me know what you guys think about the Trail Boss package. But I think if you just want the looks and you want all the functionality that you can get, then this is the route to go, because it has the looks, it has the functionality, and you're not paying for stuff that you wouldn't use. If you don't go off-roading, you're not really going to fully use the shocks in the ZR2. You're not going to fully use the rear locking differential setup in that. And this still has the G80, so it's like you still have some ability to lock up. But yeah, let me know your thoughts.